One of the goals of this interview is to really better inform both physicians, other healthcare providers, but also the lay public about World Trade Center health problems. And I think my view is that people have some sense, general sense, of the kind of health problems that World Trade Center responders have had, including respiratory issues, mental health issues, and the like. But I'm not sure they have a real understanding of kind of the magnitude of the impact that World Trade Center health exposures have had. So if you could just comment briefly on the day, September 11th, and the kind of toll that it took on FDNY. And then I'd like to speak a little bit more generally since that time of what has happened to firefighters and EMS personnel in terms of what they've experienced, their ill health, and their suffering.
Well, that day was an amazing day. It started in the morning with a plane crashing into one of the towers. What seemed to be, to some, an accident, to others, a terrorist attack. Whatever it was, it didn't matter. Firefighters, police officers, civilians mobilized and knew that something had to be done. And the firefighters rushed into that tower to get out as many civilians as they can, while at first they thought that fire could be extinguished. Little did they know that that tower was ultimately going to collapse. But that didn't stop them from rushing into the second tower, even after the first had collapsed. Knowing the time was short, that civilians were there, none of that stopped them. They just rushed in. There are stories that we've heard about, real-life events where they stayed in the tower and trying to help. A few survived. Most perished. 343 firefighters died that day. 2 of them were paramedics. The largest death of firefighters in the history of the United States. But the amazing thing about the firefighters that survived, the thousands of firefighters that survived, was nearly 2,000 were there that morning. Nearly 7,000 were there over the next 24 to 36 hours. The entire fire department, all 11,500 firefighters, 3,500 EMS workers, several thousand of retired firefighter volunteers, all of them were there at some time during the next week or two, and then worked for months thereafter in the rescue and recovery effort. The amazing thing about these men and women is that now, as sick as some of them are, they don't regret a moment of that day. They wish they could have done more. They would go back tomorrow, right, as sick as they are, because that's their life's mission. So when we're seeing these firefighters, there's never any remorse. There's only pride.